The last thing you want to be perceived as from your audience is just another coach, just another agency owner. You're just like the rest of them. You got to be able to stand out. So, we're going to talk about one of the ways to do that in this video, which is through vision, being able to cast and paint a beautiful picture of an ideal future that resonates deeply with your audience, with your clients. Ever read Russell Brunson's book, Expert Secrets? He talks about the need to shift your identity from like just a business owner that solves problems to a leader of a movement. And to me, that resonated. It just makes sense. Like you scroll social media, or people scroll on social media, they're looking for leaders. They're looking for people to inspire them, to draw them into a story bigger than themselves, right? And this is why all of the great religious figures of history have been successful in building their movement, right? I mean, in Expert Secrets, he talks about cult building. Right? So you can use these principles in a negative way to build an unhealthy cult. But even churches, right, they're built on cult-like principles, even for the positive. Like that's what Jesus did. He showed people a new way, a better way. He gave us a compelling future to live by, right? And the Bible also says that without vision, the people perish. Without vision, we cast off restraint is another interpretation, is another wording to be used there. So we lose discipline, we lose self-control when we don't have vision. So people are looking for vision and they need you to step up in your respective area, whether that's you're helping people with their health, their wealth, their relationships, their business, whatever it is, they need you to see yourself as a leader. And that's how you're going to practically increase your lifetime value, your customer retention. So I want to dive into that. I'm going to share some examples of some really successful companies that have done this, and then an example of mine to really help you flesh this out for yourself, like so you can really create a compelling future for your ideal audience. So gym launch is like one of the first businesses that comes to mind. Hormozi did a great job with taking everything he learned from Russell Brunson and instilling it and creating this $100 million business, Gym Launch, right? And it resonates with me because I was a gym owner and I used to use a lot of Gym Launch's stuff. I was a kind of a client, it's the story for another time, but they do a great job of creating like a mission and vision that is not just like corporate-y, like, oh, let's create our value statement, but it actually resonates with gym owners across the world. And the first thing is really creating an aspirational identity, something that people can call themselves, right? That's why we don't name our businesses after ourselves, which I made that mistake many times. That's why we want a name for your people that is an aspirational identity. For Gym Launch, it's Gym Lords, right? I am a Gym Lord. That is an aspirational identity statement. And Gym Lords have values, right? They call it core tenets here, but it's like the Gym Lord is the aspirational identity. This is the identity that they are creating a vision for, like who you can become. Like this is who we are. And when you embody these values, you will have the ideal external lifestyle. You'll have the gym that you want when you become a Gym Lord. So that's a huge part of being a leader of a movement, is being able to craft that identity, the aspirational identity, and communicate that to your people in a way that's inspiring, in a way that's authentic, that's inspiring to you, where it doesn't just feel stuffy or made up, but it resonates deeply with who you are. So I would research this and just kind of go through their values. Like this stuff has stuck with me ever since I was a client. Like speed is king. Like that's how powerful it is. When I was working with Hormozi in Allen, that was one of his software companies where he helped agency owners like myself. This was something he talked about all the time. Speed is king, right? And that's, I'm jumping all over the place here, but that is one way that you instill vision, is like repetitively talking about it over and over again. And speed is king is something he brought up all the time, of just taking massive action. It's not about perfection. So you want to come up with these statements, right? Do the boring work. This is all stuff that we probably know Hormozi for if you follow him. He talks about this still to this day. So that's why personal brand is so powerful as well. Like no matter what company you build, like your values are going to be infused into it. Another guy I've seen recently on Instagram, Epic Dad Fit, does a great job with this, building the whole brand, the world, and everything. Specifically, the aspirational identity of the epic dad. Like I love that. the epic dad. Like when you become an epic dad, you're going to have this type of lifestyle. And he does that through health and fitness, right? You can have dadpreneurs. So there's lots of ways. Like you can, if you're really passionate about being a father and being a dad, like I am, you can build your whole brand around that identity statement. So what does that look like for you? You want to craft this, create your value statements, write those down, use ChatGPT to help you flesh it out. For me, it's called Freedom Creators. Like that's the identity that I seek to embody. And along with that comes a whole list of values, which I'm not going to go through right now, but I believe it's an aspirational identity for the right people that resonate with me, that desire to build their business around freedom, to not be a slave to their business, but build a business that actually serves their life, to build a business that sets other people free. And that's how they're going to obtain their own freedom. So that's my aspirational identity, the freedom creator. Okay. So that's step one, is the identity. What's the identity? What are the values? What are the characteristic traits? What are the habits? What are the mindsets that people need to embody in order to obtain the desired outcome that you're promising, that you're leading people to? What's the promised land look like that you are leading them to? That's the next step. The first step is really having the who piece. Who are they becoming in order to step into that promised land? Really painting a picture of what the promised land looks like. What is that ideal promise that you're providing? What does that look like? For me, I help people build a freedom business, right? So that they can live their free life. If you're in my industry as a business coach and you're helping people build businesses, then that's something you're going to want to paint. It's going to look different for health and relationships, but the concept's still the same. So for me, the vision is really building a freedom business is about profit. It's about peace. It's about getting there without sacrificing your family, without sacrificing your faith or your freedom, without becoming what I call a scale slave, sacrificing everything at all costs, just giving it all up, and you're frantic and you're anxious all the time. A freedom business is about peaceful growth. All right. Proverbs 13:11 is wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. So there's a way to grow that is filled with anxiety, and there's a way to grow that is peaceful. A freedom business provides abundantly for you and your family. And it's not about making millions. It's what I've seen is like that sweet spot is like taking home 20K a month is really a game changer. 10K a month to cover all of your bills, but another 10K to save, to invest, to be generous, to take vacations, a few of them every year, have fun, help people. You can do pretty much everything you want at 20K a month recurring profit. Take it home, right, after taxes. So that's a sweet spot. Obviously, I've worked with people that make more than that, but where I really find the greatest breakthrough is like when you can hit that number, like life changes dramatically. Okay. And a freedom business is one built around providing freedom to others, like set the captives free. Like that's the mission. That's the core mission that we subscribe to. And our business is a vessel for that type of transformation. You can deploy coaching, courses, mentorship, consulting, or services to make that happen. All right. I don't subscribe to just one way or some identity trap as, oh, I'm just an agency owner, I'm just a coach. Like, no, you're a guide. You solve problems. You help people get from point A to point B, and you're a leader of a movement. A freedom business is about free time. We're not scale slaves putting 40 plus hours a week into our business. Obviously, there's seasons when you're launching and you're just starting, you're going to have to put in more hours. But the ideal lifestyle is one that is 4-hour workdays, especially as a father, as a dad. I like to spend time chilling with the family. I like to spend time not working, okay, on hobbies, playing basketball. And it's understanding the theory of constraints and intentionality as well. Like the theory of constraints says that whatever time you allot to accomplish a task, that's how much time it's going to take. So if you give yourself 5 hours, you'll get it done in 5. If you give yourself an hour, you'll get it done in an hour. So why not be extremely intentional, especially with time is so, that's like our most scarce resource, right? We have all these things we got to do. So we got to be intentional with our time. A freedom business is one about creating space for hobbies, rest, and relationships. It is a business that is not your master, but your servant. Your business should serve your life and it should serve your audience. I write this here because it's one of my favorite things in life is Disneyland during the week, not the weekend. I love to do things when everybody else can't. I don't like being on the world's clock. where I have to take weekends off. No, I can take a day off during the week if I want to and take my family somewhere and it not be packed, right? That's the absolute best feeling in the world is when you can do something during the week and where it's not spring break, where it's not Christmas holidays, right? And this is why we actually recently decided to homeschool because I don't like being on the world system, being all hurried and rushed. I like a peaceful lifestyle. And that's the Freedom Business provides that. Okay. And a Freedom Business is is built around the founder's calling. We believe that you are made with a calling, that God has given you specific gifts, talents, skills. You have a history that has led you up to this moment where you're at right now, and that you can monetize your calling. You can make a lot of money and good money living in your zone of genius. A Freedom Business is built on a magnetic brand. And enjoy making cool content that serves and sells at the same time. I've got mechanisms to help deploy all this and make all of this happen. That's another story for another time. That's another video talking about unique mechanisms. But hopefully this is giving you some ideas that you can flesh out for yourself. Paint the picture for your audience. What does it look like? For me, it's a brand. The opposite of that is like cold outreach only, cold DMs, transactional marketing. Like, no, the people I work with, they want to build personal brands. They want to make content and they want it to be leveraged where you're not having to grind all the time and chase all the viral stuff. Don't have to do that. Profit over revenue. That's another key piece of the Freedom Business. Revenue feeds the ego, but profit feeds the family. I heard that from my first mentor, Bedros Keuilian. Revenue feeds the ego, but profit feeds the family. We're not into just stripe shots, screenshots for the sake of screenshots. We want our bank account to grow. Okay, we want real freedom. Leverage, that is a core tenet of the Freedom Business. You actually have to have systems in place, especially if you have a lean team and you don't have a huge team. You got to have solid systems in place for marketing, repeatable processes established where it's not requiring you to run it, like it just runs itself. You want this in every aspect of your business, marketing, sales, and delivery. Okay. And then lastly, the main part of a Freedom Business is having alignment. Alignment in who you're serving, the problems you're solving, the way you're delivering. So hopefully this has helped you, give you some ideas on how you can come up with some stuff for your own. I'd love to hear from you. Comment below. What does this look like for you? Till then, I'll see you in the next video.